For the better part of a year, we've been hearing a lot of negative news and reports out of Edmonton surrounding the state of the Oilers. It is understandable given the team's fallen performance this past season. Many of the moves that the club has made are being questioned and second-guessed. And after this past week's annual NHL awards, we keep seeing headlines about Taylor Hall winning the Hart and Matthew Barzal winning the Calder. How management has done a terrible job and fans must be so angry and frustrated, and how they have every right to be. I, for one, am getting really sick and tired about hearing the same stuff being reported by basically everyone. Sure, you can say that the Oilers should have gotten more for Taylor Hall than just a one-for-one swap for Adam Larsson. I've been saying that since the deal happened on June 29th, 2016. It does look bad when Hall has a career year in New Jersey, scoring 93 points, eclipsing his previous career high of 80 points set in 2013-14 in Edmonton. 37 of his points this past year came with the man advantage, another career high. This pours even more salt in Oiler fans' wounds considering how dismal the power play attack was in 2017-18. Hall also had a 26-game point scoring streak that went from January until March. Only fellow former number 1 overall pick Patrick Kane of the Chicago Blackhawks can lay claim to a streak of this magnitude in the last 20 years. In Peter Chiarelli's first move as general manager of the Oilers, on draft day 2015, he traded a package involving one of Edmonton's 2 first-round picks in the draft, the 16th overall selection, to the New York Islanders in exchange for 2012 number 4 overall choice, Griffin Reinhart. The Islanders used this pick to select Matthew Barzal, your 2017-18 Calder Trophy winner, for Rookie of the Year, amassing 85 points in his first year in the big leagues. The Oilers, of course, saved their first pick and used it to draft a guy by the name of Connor McDavid. And Griffin Reinhart? To this day, he has played 37 regular season NHL games, collecting 2 assists. He was left unprotected in last year's expansion draft and picked by the Vegas Golden Knights, and he spent last season in the AHL. This past year in Edmonton, nothing went right. Fans were frustrated, watching the Oilers fizzle out and finishing 25 points behind the previous year's pace. Virtually every move Peter Chiarelli had made had backfired. Many have been calling for the GM to be fired. It comes with the job, I guess, especially in a hockey-mad city such as Edmonton. You can criticize Chiarelli, which everyone in hockey has been doing, the media, the fans, including myself. I was challenged this week to look at things from another perspective. Number 1, Hall had to be traded. With the arrival of Connor McDavid, there was a changing of the guard. The team was now going to be his. McDavid was the new face of the franchise, and there was no way Hall was going to step aside without a fight, as I'm sure Todd McLellan and Chiarelli witnessed in the 2015-16 season. The room could not handle 2 alpha males. McDavid is humble and believes in seniority and hierarchy. He would have deferred to Taylor Hall as long as he was there. Could they coexist? The Oilers did try it out in 15-16 for a good chunk of the preseason as well as the regular season, but Hall and McDavid did not work well together. They both liked to carry the puck into the zone and were not complementary at all. Hall did have some success playing with Leon Draisaitl after he was called up from the AHL. However, it was on Hall's terms, and I'm sure the Oilers saw it as potentially hurting Draisaitl's development as a driver of his own line. This past season, Hall admitted that he was immature and arrogant, and this season was basically the first time in the NHL that he ever listened to his coach. This actually reminded me of a story about Hall's early years with the Oilers. As the story goes, Jordan Eberle, Taylor Hall, and some of the other Oilers were out on the town one night. Oiler legend Glenn Anderson used to hang around the team a lot back then. He was with them that night, and he started to give Hall some advice, and Hall basically shrugged it off. Anderson said something to the effect of, "I scored 500 goals in this league, I know what I'm talking about." To which Hall replied back something to the effect of, "Yeah, most of them were probably empty netters and goals to make a 5-1 game 6-1. Eberle was beside Hall laughing. Anderson and some of the other former Oiler greats, it is believed, had some serious concerns about the attitude and the sense of entitlement around the new group of young Oilers. They even voiced them to their buddy and former teammate, then president of hockey operations Kevin Lowe. Lowe spoke with Anderson not too long after and asked him to spend a bit less time around Hall and the team. If the story holds any truth to it, then you can see that Hall's conduct was impactful and potentially even contagious in the room. This past season was the first time that Hall was coachable. The extreme measure of getting traded had to be taken to get his ego in check. Not that different from Hall's draft mate, Tyler Seguin, who was traded from Boston to Dallas because of maturity issues. Ironically, Peter Chiarelli happens to be the guy that traded the top 2 picks in that 2010 draft away from his team. The Oilers made it known to everyone in the NHL that Hall was available. He was shopped around, and this was the best value that anyone in the league was willing to pay for him at the time. What a lot of people also are ignoring is that the Oilers gained cap space in the process and that this was worth something in the cap era. Chiarelli was able to plug a gaping hole on the back end and at the same time minimize the impact of the hole left at left wing with Hall's departure by bringing in Milan Lucic via free agency. Lucic's skill set was more complementary to that of McDavid's and even Leon Draisaitl's. Today, Oiler fans complain about Lucic based on his performance from last year, but on July 1st, 2016, the masses were elated when Chiarelli announced this signing. Chiarelli and the Oilers positioned it as a combo move of Larson and Lucic being added in exchange for Hall. At the time, many of the analysts were saying that this was looking like a pretty damn good deal. Hall has blossomed and grown a lot in the last 2 seasons in New Jersey. It's very likely he would not have grown and blossomed this way in Edmonton, and it could have impacted McDavid and the rest of the new young core. Perhaps McDavid may not have led the league in scoring and won the last 2 Art Rosses. Last week, of the Hall trade, one analyst criticized Chiarelli by saying that you just do not trade Hart caliber players. It has only happened 4 other times in NHL history. The most recent was when Boston traded Joe Thornton to the San Jose Sharks. Thornton went on to win the Hart Trophy the following season. Peter Chiarelli was not the one that traded away Thornton from the Bruins back then in 2005. The general manager at the time in Boston was Mike O'Connell. Chiarelli replaced O'Connell the following year and molded the Bruins into an eventual Stanley Cup winner in 2011. The Bruins again reached the finals in 2013. Thornton and the Sharks have yet to win the Cup, although they did reach the finals 2 seasons ago. Let's see how this looks in 2 years. If Lucic bounces back and hoists the Cup in Edmonton, will we still be crying about the Hall deal? The entire story hasn't been written yet. Yes, the Reinhart deal sucked, but you don't shoot, you don't score. Had Reinhart turned into a stalwart top 4 shutdown defenseman, we'd be singing a different tune. They tried to make a move for Dougie Hamilton, but Boston did not seem to want to engage with its old GM, and you can't really fault Chiarelli there. The Talbot deal at that same draft turned out to be a great transaction. While Buffalo gave up a first rounder and more to Ottawa for Robin Lehner, the Sabres announced today that they won't be qualifying Lehner and he will become an unrestricted free agent July 1st. At the time, Lehner was coveted as the better goalie. I guess Chiarelli got that one right. Chiarelli brought in Matt Benning and Drake Caggiula as college free agents. He recognized the need to get bigger to be able to push back against the top teams in our division. He made some great trades for Maroon and Cassian. Caleb Jones and Ethan Bear were drafted in late rounds under his watch. All of the drafting since that 2015 draft have been a massive, massive improvement. He brought Sekera in to stabilize the D in free agency in 2015, who was our best D in 2016-17 and a major reason why we were back in the playoffs and came within 1 game of the Western Conference Finals. He should be fully recovered from knee surgery by training camp this year, and we can expect him to return to form. In 2016-2017, the Winnipeg Jets and Tampa Bay Lightning both missed the playoffs, and they both iced very similar teams this past season and were 2 of the top teams in the league, and they made it all the way to the conference finals. It is a tough league with a lot of parity. The margins between teams are so slim that even a few slip-ups and bad luck is the difference between making the playoffs or not. I hate when people trash GMs for their moves with the benefit of hindsight, when we don't know the intricate details of the situations and the deals being offered. It takes a lot of courage and fortitude to make these trades, and for that, I give Chiarelli a lot of credit. He's a professional who understands he has to learn from the past, but also work with a clean slate going forward. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have some thoughts, please do share them in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for listening.